Hello everyone, happy Thursday. It is Wedding Thursday for us here at Unashamed Imaging. But first, before I get started, I want to say Happy New Year to everyone. It is 2018. You made it into 2018. If you're planning a wedding for 2018 or 2019, this is the place to be for all wedding planning resources. Before I got on live, I kind of did some housekeeping in advance to make sure that the links were working. So normally I have to, that's why I'm turning my head this way. Normally I have to like pause and then go and check, and it looks like everything is going. So just a few things before I dive into tonight's live episode. And the first thing is I am in Florida and it is cold. And so I had to decide tonight whether I wanted to be comfortable or cute. So I chose comfortable, and I have a long sleeve shirt on, and I'm calling it my Where's Waldo shirt. Normally I try to stay like cool because it's so hot, but it's actually cold and I don't want to catch a cold. So yeah, that's why I'm in this shirt. The next thing is, remember, you can always go to my website, which the link is in the description, and I will copy it real quick into the comment section. It's bit.ly Wedding Thursdays, and that is where you can obviously watch this episode live, and then you can also go there for previous episodes. You can leave a comment there, etc. So that's definitely the place to be. Remember, that page is still a little bit new, so if there's an episode on there that is not playing, let me know so I can go back and check the link and refresh it and, troubleshoot it accordingly. So Happy New Year once again to all of the engaged couples that are, were engaged over the holidays. So we're talking about Christmas and New Year's. But don't worry, 2018 has a lot of days left in it, so you can get engaged at any point. But I wanted to just come on tonight to talk about a few things. Before I do that, let me just introduce myself to anyone that's new here. First of all, thank you for even tuning in. I appreciate you. I value your time, and I love that you are here. My name is Anisha Collins, and I am a photographer and cinematographer, owner and operator of Unashamed Imaging based in Orlando, Florida. I do travel, but that is my home base. And basically on Wedding Thursdays, I come on here and I educate couples. Now, before anyone, says, well, who do you think you are, or anything like that, it's definitely not coming from a place of, I don't think people know I don't think that anyone doesn't know things about weddings. Of course you do. You have the internet at your fingertips. But there's also a lot of misinformation. Hey, Jaleesa, there's also things that people don't get to ask. And so when I started to see questions that were coming up frequently, I saw an important a space that needed to be created for people to have access to, good information. So I do this every Thursday. I come on anywhere between 6 and 7, and I'll be honest, for 2018, I'm retesting the time because I want to be on at a valuable time, but I also like to be on when people can actually also get on and ask questions live, because it just makes it easier when you can ask a question and someone can answer it right then and there. So that's my intro, and tonight I'm going to get into what I have planned. Like I said, if you guys want to go to the website, once you go to unashamedimaging.com, but it's easier if you just click the link that I put in the comments, which is the bit.ly link. And it looks like I just got a message saying that you can't see it on the actual website. So let me, before I get started, it will only take me 2 seconds. Let me actually share that so people who are just using the website primarily can also view. So give me 1 second. But in the interim, I'll never stop talking because I don't want you guys to just be staring at my head. Right, there we go. Okay, so I think this is working. I can see myself, so this should be the better link for you guys to watch what's going on. So yeah, so there are a couple of trends that are being seen within surveys and just in the wedding market where brides and couples and also wedding industry professionals, where they will go and just kind of help each other out, be a resource, find information and things of that nature. And so tonight I am talking about the number one regret of most wedding couples. And when I found out about this, I wasn't shocked, but I was. And the reason why I wasn't shocked is because it's a conversation that I actually have during most of my consultations, because since I do, there we go. Okay, so we should be good to go, guys. Those who are on the website, you should be able to see live. I apologize for the delay. That's technical stuff, but it's definitely coming through. Like I said, tonight I'm actually live from my cell phone, so it's a little bit different than the full screen that I like to use, but we're still gonna make it work because that's how this works. So when I found out about this number one regret, I wasn't surprised, because I actually get this question during my consultations when I talk with potential couples for their wedding day. And the number one regret, the number one regret for a lot of couples is not having a wedding video. And on one end, if you know me, first of all, I have an education platform as well to my business. And on that platform, I teach a lot about video marketing. I'm also a resource for other things, business related or wedding related, as far as helping those who are, new or starting up. But as far as but as far as video goes, like, anyone who really knows me knows that I'm like the video queen. Like, I actually have it on my website to call me the video chick. And I love video. I love, what it does. And one example that I'll share tonight, kind of sort of within what I'm already discussing. And with video, you can just take it a step further as far as really reliving in the moment. And I can speak on this because since I do photography and videography or cinematography, whichever one you want to use, the word is interchangeable, but it's not, but whatever. Since I do both, when I speak on like photography and video, I don't feel like I'm being like disrespectful to one over the other, because I do both. So I'm able to actually come from a neutral perspective. But one thing that I can say about video is that it allows you to relive the moment. It allows you to go back and say, oh my gosh, like that happened, they caught that. And there are just certain things in photography like that you can't capture in a photo, but you can capture it 100% in a video. And so, like I said, when I saw that couples not having a wedding video or hiring a wedding videographer was their number one regret, I was like, absolutely, that makes so much sense. And a lot of reasons why a lot of couples don't get a wedding videographer has a lot to do with budget. So I'm going to start there because I know that that's like the number one reason that I've been seeing is budget is a factor. And so when I saw that, I was like, okay, all these things make sense, but no one really talks about, hey, Ashley or Ashley, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. So no one really talks about, the budget and how to work with your budget when it comes to having a wedding video. And so I want to just throw something out there. Some industry professionals may disagree with me, and hey, they're entitled to, their opinion and to run their business as they see fit. But because I'm also someone that does numbers, that's just how I am, I wanted to share this piece of advice to couples. So first of all, you need to find a wedding videographer that you like. And I'm not talking about, it may not be your best friend's wedding videographer. Like, you really need to do your research. So if you go back to a few episodes, I talked about how to find your wedding vendors on social media. That's why I have the website page that's in the link, the description of this live. I did it on November 9th. I did a live search on how to find your wedding vendors, right? So when you're searching for your wedding vendors, and to keep it simple, I'm sorry. To keep it simple, let's say you live in Orlando, Florida, then you want to go to Google and type things like Orlando wedding videographer. Okay, start there. I'm not going to mention the other vendors because I'm talking about video. So once you get there, just really allow yourself to, hi Aaron, really allow yourself to look at their work and see if it's something that you can look at for years to come. Now, don't put yourself exactly in the couple's wedding because your wedding colors may be different, location may be different, but I'm talking about the style of shooting. Are they bright and airy, which is more of my lane, or are they dark and moody? So that's what I'm talking about, like looking at those different things. Then I would make a list of my top 5 that I like. That way you don't have like a list of 20 and you feel like, oh my gosh, who do I pick, from? So start with your top 5. Guys, let me know if you can't hear me, because if not, I'm just talking to myself. And so don't feel like you're being rude. You could definitely drop a comment and say, I can't hear you. So start there and then go down to your top 3. And if you remember, or if you go back to the November 9th episode, the reason why I said to have a top 5 is because if, let's say, your first 2 or your third person is not available or whatever, you have more options as opposed to having a top 3 and maybe they're all booked. You never know. If it's someone that's really, really good, they may not be available on your wedding day. I know for myself, some of my couples book like 14 months out. Excuse me. This is the second time I'm coughing on live. I'm sorry. So anyway, so start there. The next thing that you want to do is create a budget for you to have video. Now, something else that you need to understand is that video may very well be more expensive than photography. That is common, and that is something that I don't want you to freak out about. But I also don't want you to say to yourself, well, this videographer costs too much. I really, really like them. I can't have them. Move on. And then you end up getting someone that's cheaper and not as good. And this is not hate. This is truth. I have honestly received calls from people who wanted to book me, but I was outside of their budget. And they have written back to me and said, I really wish I would have booked you XYZ. Just to keep it professional, I'm not going to share exactly what they said, but it started off with that. Or I've had couples who literally wrote a review and was like, you were expensive as far as outside of their budget, but it was worth it. So I honestly do feel bad when I talk to couples who who had a bad experience because they went with someone cheap and just to say, oh yeah, I have a video, but they really didn't spend the time to see if they connect, if they were the right fit. You don't just, when you get a pair of shoes, you don't just put on the pair of shoes because you like them. You ask for your specific size, right? And then you do the toe test that they taught you when you were younger. And so those things are important, and so my whole point is you don't just want to grab a vendor just because they say they do XYZ and they're not the right fit for you. So don't think also that you can't have your favorite or the videographer that you want. What I would definitely do is do not go into it with the mindset of discount, because this is their livelihood and this is their job. If they're a professional and full-time, this is what they do, okay? But you can definitely discuss things like payment plans and, how far out they're willing to adjust your payments so that you can have them. And this has happened. I know some even photographers who have done this, and they've had people who really wanted them, and it took them maybe a whole year to pay the specific vendor, but they got who they wanted and it was the right fit for them. So don't always feel like because you want a vendor that may be outside of your budget that you can't have them, because you very well could have them, but you need to open your mouth and ask. And I'm not trying to be all deep, but if you read the Bible, something to the level of like, ask and you shall receive. You never know, so don't feel like, oh man, they're X amount of dollars, I can't have them. You never know. There's payment plans. There might be something that you may have to take off of a particular collection to bring it, within closer to your budget and things like that. Hello. Hey Donald, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. So that's the first thing that I wanted to hone in on as far as when it comes to wedding video, that, definitely look at the different styles, search for the, you know, people that you like, don't just pick anybody. You want to pick someone that is the right fit for you, and then go from there. Do more research. Take advantage of the consultation. I'm not saying ask them 50 million questions, but I am saying ask them pertinent questions that will help you with your decision. So the next thing that I want to talk about, and I'm just doing an audio test. You guys know I usually do this like once I'm on for a little while, and I can be heard, so that's great. All right, so the next thing that I wanted to share was, excuse me, the next thing that I wanted to share was why video is important. And with respect to my family, I recently had a family member that passed away, and the first thing that I thought of was, what memory do I have of this person outside of a photo? And my brain just went, you have the video from their birthday, their 100th birthday. And I was like, yes, I have the video. And I mean, yes, I'm still, you know, grieving. We all have our grieving process. But I was so excited because I have a video where I can hear him, where I can see him moving, where I can see him talking to me and saying my name. And I know that it's not a wedding video, because that's basically what I'm talking about. But a video itself allows you to, like I said, relive the moment as it was, hearing the person, seeing the person. You know, you can see someone in a photo, but years from now, years from now, you may not remember what was said in that moment. You just have the photo. You know what I'm saying? So that was an example that I wanted to share tonight with why video actually does matter, because it really does allow you to go back and relive that moment. I know when a little bit after my grandmother passed away and my father and I went back to her home and got some of her personal items, we found like old film. I'm talking about like projector film. And we had it developed, and I got to see video of like my dad when he was a teenager, and my grandmother I'm assuming in her 30s, obviously he's a teenager. But it was just cool, like to see, it was cool to see that footage of my grandmother in motion, to see what her life was like. And I wasn't even thought of, because like I said, my dad was a teenager, but it's just cool. So if that does anything to tell you why video really is important, let that do its thing for you. I wanted to share that with, like I said, with respect to my family, because, you know, we just found out yesterday, so I don't really want to like dig any deeper concerning that. So that is the number one regret of couples, is not having a wedding video. So I encourage you to put wedding videography on your list of vendors, and then, like I said, do your research, find the right fit, find the right person, company, if it's a husband, wife, duo, whatever, find the right fit for you, and then go from there. Make a list, take advantage of the consultation, ask the questions that you need, because video, the funny thing is, like, photography's been around for so long, so everyone knows photography, but video is still new. And because it's new, sometimes people don't see like, oh, why does it cost X amount of dollars? But from someone who does both, because I do photography and video takes 20 million times longer than photo. You have to, you know, if you're a storytelling type of cinematographer, then you have to tell a story using that footage and put it all together. And honestly, I'm just gonna put this in there, everyone is not created the same, but I'll say this much: for professionals that really care about their video, trust me, they spend hours and days with your video. It's not a 10-minute thing. They put it together and say, here's your video. Like, they really do take the time to do that. And so video is just more extensive, it's more intense, and it just requires more time. And it's one of those things where also, like with photography, you can have someone pose and redo something, but with video, it's a one-time thing if you want it to really stay in its natural state without it being too posy. Okay, so like I said, I can talk about video all day long. I love video. I teach it as well. I do speaking engagement summits, conferences about video itself. So I can go on forever about video, but I have 2 more things to address tonight, so I'm not going to do that. The next thing is something that I'm seeing a lot is brides are struggling with staying organized, and they're struggling with where to start. And I was like, okay, boom, so let's add this to the first episode of 2018, because I know there are a lot of recently engaged couples. So I'm just gonna put this out there. One thing that you really want to have is a checklist. There are tons of checklists out there, so I'm not even going to say you have to have this one particular checklist. There's resources out there for different checklists, but some of them may be a little bit more extensive, some of them may be shorter, and if you're someone that needs more explanation, then you want a checklist from someone who is organized or someone who understands that certain things have to have subcategories. You know, if, for example, if on their checklist they have like, go to bridal shop. Okay, well, what do you do when you're there? And I'm not trying to say that people can't use their common sense, because they can, but there's a lot of things that happen at a bridal shop. There's advice also and tips that you can give, you know, when it comes to shopping for your gown. So, little plug, and I will place it in the comment section. I am waiting for this to reload. Like I said, guys, I'm live streaming from my cell phone tonight. Normally I'm on the computer, so it's a little bit different, but so far everything is good to go, and I can see who's on here, and so I'm not complaining. So the link that I am putting in the comment section is a link to my wedding checklist. I basically just honed in on things that I know my brides have as a concern, you know, and things that I've seen as a professional, and so I tweaked it to fit from that perspective. But if you don't have a checklist at all, it's a great list to use. It's free. All you have to do is click the link that I just put in the comment section, and it will take you to the area on my website where you can download that checklist for free. And I'm telling you, a checklist, no matter where you get it from, even if you don't use mine, a checklist is better than operating with no direction. So if you don't have one and you're planning, go get it, use it, have fun. If you want to let me know how it helped you, feel free. I love to hear feedback and testimonials, so feel free to tell me how it helped you with your planning process. So, excuse me. We are, hold on, I want to make sure that this doesn't blare out the audio as I'm trying to type to you guys. Okay, there we go. So that is what I wanted to hone in on, the wedding checklist. Like I said, the one I just sent to you is a free resource. It will help you. It will get you started. It actually goes all the way back to 14 months. So if you're anybody like me who has been, you know, who plans stuff in advance, it's really good for someone who might know they're getting engaged or someone who's planning for 2019. So you'll definitely have like a full timeline to get you across that time frame. The next thing that I wanted to talk about, and I kind of honed in on it when I first started, but I wanted to really talk about the number one regret. So the next thing is, to all of the engaged people that got engaged over Christmas and New Year's, I guess the new year, because, you know, there's memes about saying New Year's. First of all, super, super duper congratulations from me to you. I hope that it was a beautiful moment. I hope that you have photography and video of some sort as a memory of it, because it is a beautiful moment. I know I see them on Instagram all the time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. I literally, like, I wish I could record myself, because sometimes I spend some time on social, like, really engaging. And so sometimes I'll find myself scrolling and I'll see an engagement video and I'll just be like, oh. And I'm like, I wonder what I look like from the outside. Like I look like a weirdo, like smiling at other people's happy moments. But whatever. Touche. So I just wanted to first congratulate anyone that was engaged over the holiday season. Let's just say holiday season to start with. So here are just a few things that I wanted to share with you guys. And that is, if you were just recently engaged, congratulations. You should be celebrating. Do not jump straight into wedding planning. I know some of us are type A personality where we have things planned that haven't even happened yet. But be in the moment, celebrate, you know, call your parents, tell your friends that, will genuinely be happy for you. You don't want to tell someone that won't be genuinely happy for you, because that's discouraging. So, you know, reach out to someone who you know will be like, oh my gosh. So, one thing that I wanted to share is make sure that you get your ring insured. Now, I don't have a resource for that. And honestly, I probably wouldn't even give you one, only because it's not something that I've used. So I don't know if it's reliable, and I don't want you to say, Unashamed Imaging says to go here. No, that's not gonna happen. So I would definitely research, you know, where to insure your engagement ring, things of that nature. And so you have that security. I know people who have broken their rings as soon as they got them or shortly thereafter, and having it insured just helps you to replace it and other things which they can discuss based on, you know, what kind of coverage for insurance that you've chosen. They'll tell you what you can and cannot do, or, you know, if something happens to it, if it gets lost, if you flush it down the toilet by accident, because sometimes, you know, the ring is not the exact size. If you're like me, I have long fingers, so, you know, I know what ring size I am, but that's not the point. The point is that I have long fingers, so it, you know, if it's not the right size, it could easily slip off, and I may not know. So definitely get your rings insured. That's really important. The next thing, like I said, if you have parents or whoever raised you that you're really close to, call them, let them know. You know, if you are close to them, let them know. It's something that I think they deserve to know, just because they can be happy for you as well in the moment. Now, on the flip side, this is kind of a little like help here as well. If you were recently engaged and you are looking to do an engagement session, then you definitely, and this is for the ladies, or you know what, that's a matter of fact, men get pedicures and manicures too, but I didn't mean pedicure, I meant manicure. So it's for whoever. If you want to show your hands and your pictures, get your nails done, basically is my point. It's just cool to get them done, and it just looks nice in your pictures. So if you're planning an engagement session, definitely get a manicure done. And some people also post selfies. Now, how soon you do them, that's really up to you. But as far as posting your selfie, but at the very least, if you're going to do or have an engagement session, you definitely want to have a manicure done so that you can just have some pretty nails, you know, for the ring shots. So I talked about getting it insured, the whole size thing. I used myself as an example. Now, if you are someone that's like, oh my gosh, I just got it proposed to, I'm ready to plan my wedding, that's fine. This is like a judgment-free zone. I kind of go back to what I just said before this, which was get a wedding planning checklist. Get that list, and that will definitely help you to stay organized. It will help you to decide what you need to do next. So I'm actually placing a link in the comment section. You should see it come up in the next few minutes. And I just made like just a little blog post of a few things that you should do right after you say yes, once you've been proposed to. And so the link should pop up. And that will just basically discuss everything that I'm discussing with you now. So you're not like, wait a minute, I get to write that down. Don't worry, I have the post. I just linked it in the comments. And I'm also putting it on the live page. So you guys will have that over there as well, if it'll go through. I can probably do it in a second, but okay. So that was that. So just as a quick reminder, remember I have a blog that has tips for brides and couples. So if you're looking for any wedding planning tips, definitely check those out. The questions that I receive, that I see, like, don't ever feel stupid, but know that there is and there are resources out there for you. So don't feel lost. Like, I would encourage you, actually, if you feel lost during your wedding planning process, then one, if you're watching this, go to my blog and click tips for brides, and it's got a lot of different tips. But if you feel lost, get on Google and start searching what you're looking for. Now, of course, be mindful of your resource and what you select, but there's no reason in 2018, with all the information that we have out there, why you should feel lost with wedding planning. You just need resources and or someone that has knowledge, that would be me, to help you in your wedding planning process. So guys, that's about it. Tonight I talked about the number one regret, which is that couples are regretting not having a wedding video done of their wedding day. So I talked about, you can definitely go back to catch the replay, and for those that are in the replay, I talked about budget, how to find the vendor for you, etc. So please definitely go back and watch what I shared, because I don't want to confuse you by saying something different towards the back end. The next thing I talked about was having a wedding planning checklist, which I keep going in and out of with this third category because they kind of all go together. If you don't have a list and you're feeling flustered, get a wedding planning checklist. I put the link in the comment section of this live as well. And last but not least, I talked about the Bride Series during the last live, and I'm going to talk about it again. The Bride Series is coming to you guys this March of 2018. I'm excited about it. The presenter lineup that I have is crazy in a good way. We've got some really, really good people. We had good people the first one as well, so I'm not what's the word? I'm not shunning the first one. I'm just really excited that, you know, I get to present different people as well, because there are tons of people that have a wealth of knowledge, and I know that they can help you. So if you are looking for the Bride Series tickets, they are free. There is limited seating though, so I will place the link once I get off. That way I'm not stopping again. I will place the link in a comment that will take you to the Bride Series tickets, and I'll definitely see you guys there. So happy 2018. I hope you guys are positive for the year, that you have some direction, that you let go of things in 2017, and, you know, just be you, be your true, authentic, and beautiful self. I'm Anisha Collins of Unashamed Imaging, photographer and cinematographer based in Orlando, Florida, and I'm out. See you next time. Bye.